How we doing? Well, I had propped my phone up out here and used it to do this. Here's the lifters out of number 4 hole on the 4x4. Run them all, change the rockers over, put these Elgin black ice stamped steel rockers back on it. Set them at a quarter turn hot with it running. Everything seemed fine. The very next morning, start it. Tap, 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 tap. Got louder. Sounded like it was coming from the passenger side. So I pulled the valve cover off. I put one of the valve covers, I cut the slot out of the top of it on it. Fire it back up, and right away. Number 4, not oiling. One had such a minuscule amount of oil coming out of the hole from the push rod. The other one, nothing. Rev it, nothing. This one we get just a little bit more. This other one, nothing. So 2, 6, and 8 are all oiling like crazy. 4 is not. So pull the rockers, pull the push rods. Very little oil come out of the push rods. Pull the lifters out with magnets. I have to take the studs and guide plates, rocker studs out and guide plates out, and I can pull them up through the hole in the head. With magnets, I can pull all the lifters out that way. I don't have to take the intake off. Thank you, Flowtech, for thinking of that. By the way, on your heads. But pull them out. Wheels are fine. Down here, all this is good. You can see there is oil in the holes on them. I am assuming, by no oil coming up through them, these are the ones making noise. It was on that side. Tappings on that side, no oil coming up the lifters. They're most likely the pair that's bad. It's the same set of lifters that we had one that had no oil hole even machined in the body of the lifter on number 6. And we fixed that. At that point, when I put the new ones in number 6 and primed the engine again, these oiled fine. Now, nothing. Engine's got 60 pounds of oil pressure. So, I know it's not oil pressure. I mean, hell, I've had motors carry 30 pounds at an idle. You know, a bone stock, small block, and oil fine. So I pulled the distributor out of it, put the priming tool in, cordless DeWalt drill, half dead battery, put it on there, and tighten the chuck up because you can't put the whole assembly in there because the engine sits so far back in the body. And I spin it on low speed. Oil's gushing out the lifter borehole. I'm like, all right, that's on one side, the back side. Let's try to plug the hole, make sure it's coming around and coming out the other side because there's more than one hole in the 2 lifter bores. I do that, it comes around, path of least resistance, and out the other hole. You're talking, you know, those holes are like 5/16. So it's getting oil. Okay. If you remember when we switched to cam, I set everything just back just like it was on the big cam from the machine shop. Same lash, everything. You'd rev it, you hear like a ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da, like 3-4 grand. Not every time, but almost every time. 3/4 return of lash. 32 thousandths preload. They want 30 to 35. So they said go full turn. I went a full turn, minimize the rattle, still present. I said, all right, something ain't right. I tore it down. I put these other rockers on it, set them at a half a turn, let it run, back them off, put them at a quarter turn. It was quiet other than the typical link bar noise, which sounds like a sewing machine. You know, you just got to live with it. So, anyway, the tapping started, and that's when I went in and looked and seen that these 2 were not oiling like they should. So, with using common sense as the measurement tool, noisy, tapping, something ain't right, still got a little bit of a shake to it. I'm guessing the 2 that weren't getting any oil coming to push rods like they should are the two that are the problem. Take them out, take a machine shop Friday. He messes around with them. You got this one to bleed off. The other one won't budge. You cannot move the plunger cup at all in it. I don't care how much pressure you put on it. It won't move. So I'm thinking the one that won't move was hanging the valve open. Spring tension on the valve spring was what was keeping the slack out of everything. It didn't bend a push rod or anything. And I think the one that actually pumped down was probably the one making noise. So these are Morel 5372s, street performance lifters, small block Chevy, link bar lifter, retrofit. Hard to find right now. So coincidentally, Howard's cams street performance lifter is the same as a 5372. Same lifter, same lifter cup, depth, 2.661, everything's same. Because if you get too far difference on lifter cup one way or the other, you're going to change push rods. Some guys will say you can go up to 50 thousandths. I'm not going that much. I mean, like you can put lash caps on top of valve stem and have changed push rods. So they ordered a whole set. He just wants to change all of them because this second set we've had trouble with out of the set of lifters. So to keep everything symmetrical, copacetic in the engine, not have to buy different push rods or anything like that, we just bought a whole set of Howard's cams street performance lifters. Now I don't know if Howard specs their lifters a little looser internally or valving's different or whatever. I've never had trouble with Howard's. I know the Morels, but I've never had any issue with them. I have, on the other hand, had issues with these bastards more than once. I don't know if Morel does theirs different than Howard's, but a lot of other people's lifters, I believe, are Morels, such as, of course, Howard's, Summit, Linati. I think they're all Morels. So, and I think maybe some of the valving might be different because Summit lifter cup depth is different. Linati's lifter cup depth is different. But, you know, so, and a lot of people's lifters look the same as these, but there's telltale signs, you know. All you gotta use ask, they'll tell you they're Morels. So, but anyway, they'll be here Thursday. I'm gonna pull them all out with the magnets, rerun the rockers, put the distributor back in it. Well, first I'll prime everything, make sure all of them are getting oil, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna set them all at half a turn, like I always have, forever and ever and ever. I've always put a half a turn on them cold on a hydraulic and never had to go back and touch them again. But these rotten bastards have been nothing but a headache. And I've been down this road before with this exact same part number lifter. So I don't know if it's quality control or what, but like I said, the other one in this set didn't have the oil hole in it in here. On number 6, we found it when we primed the oil pump. There was no oil coming out of it at all. So, and that's when the engine came back in the machine shop with the rumpity rump cam in it. So, I mean, it can't be anything else. Common sense, process elimination. The only thing that's changed the cam. Timing set's the same, cam button's the same, everything else is the same, lifters are the same, push rods are the same. The only thing that changes is the cam. And going to a little bit smaller cam is not going to change anything. It don't change valve lash, it don't change push rod length or anything else. Oil pressure hasn't changed, nothing else has changed. It's this right here. So, new lifters will be here Thursday. We'll get them put in, we'll fire it up and see what it does. So till then, stay safe. God bless. Later.